Hey, what's up? This is Kevin from Kevin's BBQ Joints, and I'm really excited to share this one with you. It's with Blake Stoker from Blake's BBQ in Martin, Tennessee. It's a barbecue trailer. We talk about the barbecue trailer, and we talk about his brick and mortar, which is coming next year. We give updates on that. But why I wanted to talk to him was because he just got off an epic Texas barbecue trip. And I thought this would be great for people who are in Blake's area, in Tennessee or that area, and want to do the same route. He describes place by place, the people, the food, and most importantly, the people, because that's what this is all about. And I want to talk to him about the people that he stayed with, that he interacted with, because that is what barbecue is really about. And it gives insight into how fabulous this world is. And of course, the places that he stopped at were spectacular, and they are definitely on must-visit lists for sure. And I have tried to, if you're watching on the YouTube side, you'll see photos. I've tried to intersperse photos that he took or some other photos, so that way you can get an idea as to what he's describing. But I can't thank Blake enough for taking the time to do this, and hopefully in a year from now, it'll give him a chance to look back on this trip and see how he felt about everything. And also maybe it'll inspire you to take a trip, like partial trip of what he's done, or at least visit some of the places that he talks about. The Kevin's BBQ Joints podcast and YouTube show is brought to you by Flores Tortillas. Who doesn't love tortillas? But who doesn't love tortillas made with smoked beef tallow? FloresTortillas.com every Monday, 10 a.m. Central Time, Texas time. They go on sale. You could send them anywhere in the country. Make someone happy, make yourself happy. They're so good. Michael Wyant is just a wizard at making tortillas, and his team is killing it, and I can't be happier to have them on board. Again, that's FloresTortillas.com, Flores Tortillas on all social media. They're also available in a number of barbecue places. I'll put a link below. Flores Tortillas. I've got a website at kevinsbbqjoints.com. If you're enjoying these, please subscribe. This is about an hour and 20 minutes, so I want to get into this. Thanks again, Blake, for taking the time. Good afternoon, Blake. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm doing good. Yeah, it's definitely nice to talk to you. I wanted to talk to you while this was still fresh because you just got off you're about a week away from a really epic barbecue trip that you took to Texas. And I was hoping to maybe give people information if they're coming from that area, or if they're coming from, maybe they want to do the same route, they can kind of mirror what your trip was, or at least get some insight, because there's so many places now. It seems like there's, over 60.
It's
there's so,
crazy.
like, if you want to stop at all, because
Crazy.
they all have their different strong suits, and they're all interesting in their own ways. And then I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the people that you stayed with, because the people that you stayed with, you didn't know them prior to your barbecue world, right?
Right. Right. Oh, I guess sort of both of them, honestly. About three. I mean, I've known who they were for probably six,
Yeah.
6.5 years. But I've known them both personally, as good friends
Yeah.
for 2 or 3 years, something like that.
And I wanted to highlight that because as we go, I wrote down step by step kind of what your trip was, and then we can kind of get into your relationship with them. And I think it's neat because it shows that if you wanted to jump into this world, not necessarily becoming friends specifically with the people you did, but the barbecue world embraces people that are passionate and excited and
Oh yeah.
interested. So let's,
It's the beauty of it.
but first off, let's talk about your restaurant first. I want people to get, who don't know enough about you. What are the hours of your restaurant, and what do you serve?
So currently at the barbecue trailer, at the food trailer in Martin, we're about a quarter, maybe a third of a mile from the future brick and mortar location.
Yeah.
Right now, we're open Wednesday through Saturday. Wednesday through Friday, we open at 11. We're open until sellout. It can be, today it was like 1:30 or 2, but we've had Fridays where it was 4:30 or 5. You just cannot tell. Saturdays we open at 10:30. The root of that is I'm a big football fan, football game watcher,
Yeah.
and I just, a lot of during college football season, a lot of games come on at 11. So, if it's a Tennessee football game, and that's what, not necessarily me, I went to Mississippi State, so Hell State, but, say Tennessee's playing, they're playing at 11. It gives those people, or,
That's
whatever,
nice. Okay.
or if you're just a general game watcher and you want to start watching the first big game of the day that, starts at 11,
Ah,
you can come get your food and be home with it eaten, by 11.
that's great.
I
No,
have to get
that's,
out.
yeah, because most places are open at 11, and it
Right.
might be 11:30. You'll miss And that's like the build up to those games are fun. That's like
Oh,
that.
oh yeah. So that was honestly the root of that.
Oh,
Just give
interesting.
people an
I didn't know that.
opportunity.
That's the first time. That makes
Also,
sense.
it gives us a chance to get a little bit earlier start. And if people are traveling out of town, taking stuff to family or whatever, um, but we're open those hours. So 10:30 or 10:30 on Saturday until sold out.
Yeah.
That's typically 1:30 on Saturdays.
Yeah.
And then at the restaurant, it's still, we're still conversating about it, but I think right now we're leaning towards Wednesday through Sunday. So 5 days a week, at least to start with. We may start out 6 and we may start out 4. But, we want to do everything
Yeah.
we can to make everybody's experience the best it can possibly be. So easing into it, I feel like is the way to
I think
go.
that's a smart way to go. Yeah.
Right. But Wednesday through Sunday, gonna be open lunch and dinner. So 11 until probably kitchen close at, 8,
Yeah.
8:30, 9 o'clock. I want to at least grow into a weekend brunch. So Saturday, Sunday, I could see us opening at 10 or so. And doing some brunch items, think of like what Guest Family does, maybe some of what Miller's does, and others that are they're delved into the brunch, barbecue
Yeah,
brunch
which is
stuff.
fun for people, and it's nice on a
Oh
weekend to
yeah,
have the barbecue
something
option
different.
plus brunch.
Right. And then like on Sundays, so we're not open on Sundays right now, in large part because church is a big deal here and people get out of church, whether it's cold or hot or raining or whatever. We only have outdoor seating. So even though like today it was literally 97 degrees and people sat out there and ate Bubba Co sandwiches and half racks of ribs, you name it, just in the blazing hot sun. We have shade, but still it's hot,
Yeah.
humid. Um, you don't want to be we don't see many people in, suits and
Yeah.
super dressed up type clothes, your Sunday best. So Sundays, we need a day off, because that's literally, my only day off and a lot of our crew's only day off. Anyways, we're not open Sundays now.
But
I think
when you
it'll
open
be,
the restaurant, you're thinking, and then you'll have indoors.
yeah,
That'll be interesting to see everyone in their Sunday best coming into
right. Well,
Blake's.
Sundays, everybody gets out of church and they're looking for a spot to go. And we have places, and I think we have great places around here, but we hear it every day. I hope you are going to be open on Sunday because we're always looking for a place after church. So I think I predict Sundays will probably end up being our biggest days. We may
Yeah.
not be open late, if there's probably try to cut it off at 2 or 3 just to give our, staff and the building time to rest and get cleaned up and all. But if there's if it's Super Bowl Sunday or some sort of a big game, the Tennessee Titans are playing, something like that later in the evening that could draw a crowd,
Yeah.
I could see us staying open for something like that.
What kind of time frame are you looking at because of COVID and because of construction things? Are you looking for the end of this year, do you think?
I think probably early 2022, but this is funny. I listened to your podcast. I've listened to every episode probably multiple times, but I
You are
don't
my biggest
listen.
fan.
I probably am. I gotta be.
Thank you.
But I don't listen to any of our past podcasts, me and you, just because that's kind of awkward. But for some reason the other day, one of your interviews finished, and then it, for whatever reason, started playing mine, one of our old ones.
Oh, really?
And I heard myself, the clip I heard, the 10-second clip I heard was me saying, you asking the same exact question you just asked. And I heard myself say, well, unless something goes really wrong between now and then, I don't see why it wouldn't be the beginning of 2021.
Oh my Lord.
No, yeah, early 2021. And here we are, or maybe it was early, might have even been early 2020. It seemed like it was 2 years ago. And how wrong, could that have been?
Yeah,
But
like way
things
off.
just
Yeah.
take, we had something big happen.
Yeah, something
Pandemic,
kind of big.
something slowed everything down and made lumber jump up to double cost.
Oh
And
yeah.
So yeah. But to answer your question now, construction should be done mid to late fall. So I'm thinking construction done. Honestly, it should be done by end of October.
Yeah.
And then we've talked about it a bunch, but I'm just not going to let the doors open until we're settled in and have everybody trained up. And I feel like and my managers and everybody feels like we're really, really ready to rock and roll. Not flawlessly because we'll mess up every day, but as best as we can.
Yeah.
So considering that and the fact that it's going to be 140, 145, 150 seat complex,
Wow.
so we're going to have 40 to 50 employees.
Yeah. I was going to ask that next question.
That's going to be the issue. Not issue. That's going to be the holdup.
The challenge.
Answer your question. Early 2022, January, February, I think before we're really, opening the doors and rocking and rolling.
Not this year, but it's coming up quick.
Close.
And I'll put a link below too. I have that blog post with all the photos and the video and the construction updates so people can see different things and they can kind of get an idea of what's coming, because it's going to be fabulous. And you're really putting a lot of thought into how you're setting it up and how you're building it up.
Trying to. And then, my mind is more focused on the current barbecue stuff than it honestly should be. So I've got to give a lot of credit to my parents and sister especially, for keeping things under control down there and keeping me focused and trying to get my head in the right direction, because I just love cooking and serving barbecue. So I've had to really try to grow up fast, let myself off the reins with the barbecue stuff, and know that there's other not more important, but there's other things I've got to focus on as well.
And that takes time. That's a skill unto itself to learn how to separate that. And really, the last question: if someone was coming there, it would be you, Abby, and then who else? And then I forget her name.
Libby.
Yeah.
Right. So today at work, me and Libby cooking. So that's all. Me and Libby there all morning, 3:30 until I think Abby got there at 9 or so, just to start prep and all that stuff. And then we had Donna. We hired her several weeks ago to sort of run front of house at the brick and mortar, but also to come on now and start learning everything. Learning the product, learning. Now she has T-shirts that I brought back and accumulated over the years. She's all into the Texas barbecue scene now.
That's cool.
But there's always, at least if we're open and somewhat busy, during busy hours, there's 5 to 6 of us there. Me cutting, if we're open, me cutting, Libby cooking. Thank goodness for Libby and her what she does.
And Libby, I apologize for forgetting her name. It's been a long day, but I remember you sent me a lot of she's killer. She's doing a great job. Yeah,
killing it. I mean, this morning we had both going all morning. She just, I honestly, I say out of her way. When she'll let me, and she's always nice to let me, get my hands dirty, but she's killing it.
That's great. No, that's great to have. And it'll be exciting for her when you guys have the brick and mortar. I guess I said last question, but are you going to be building some more pits for the brick and mortar, or is that a secret? Is that some secret stuff?
Oh no, that's no secret. So right now we've got the same 2 500-gallon, offset propane style tanks or smokers that we've had since started cooking on, I guess, in late 2015. We opened in May, so spring of 2016.
Yeah.
So still have those. They get much further utilized now, like capacity wise, pretty much full tilt. Not every day though. We have pars and sort of know about what we're doing. And it's not, not full tilt every day, but for the restaurant. So currently being built, maybe not quite started, but on the verge of getting started, is 2 more 1,000-gallon tanks that actually, funny enough, Michael Johnson from Syntex helped us get a hold of. I think he had a couple extras.
Oh, nice.
Several months ago, I guess maybe during the slower time of, whenever everything was pretty much shut down, but we're, in search of. So he was nice enough to help us.
What a great guy. Yeah. That's really cool. So those will be, so you'll have those, and then you'll have your 500s if you need them for overflow.
Right. Yeah. Well, we'll have the 2 1,000 gallons, and then still our 2 500s. Got a nice pit room built out coming trying to think of what it would be reminiscent of. It's gonna be 25 by 25 feet, screened in. It's gonna be pretty cool.
That's cool. That's awesome. So now with your barbecue trip that you did, how much planning ahead did you for the different places? Because we'll go through list by list of the different places. How much planning ahead? I know you planned probably with the people that you stayed with, but did you
Right.
know? Did you kind of have in your like in your mind an idea as to which places you were going to hit?
Yeah, so this is like, let's just say it was my 14th trip, something like that. 12, 13,
Yeah.
15, something like that. Over the last like 6 or 8, my goal has always been to a hit spots that I haven't been to either because I just, have only been able to hit so many in one trip,
Yeah.
or they've opened since I've been the last time, whatever the case is. And B, revisit folks, restaurants that maybe I didn't hit the last time, have been to before, but have missed them the last couple trips. And then I'm friends with, like I convenient. For instance, I went to Regal's on Monday while I was out
Yeah.
there. Regal's in the past, Regal's and Feges are the only ones in Houston open on Monday. So each trip, over the last 8 or 10, I've always swapped between, say last trip I went to Regal's on Monday, the next trip I'd go to Feges, which I made it to both this trip. Feges' new
Yeah.
location,
Yeah.
which we'll talk about that, and Regal's as well. But I always, yeah, so I had somewhat planned out, there was a couple, and honestly, whenever we go through the list that you made to help remind me, I'll be able to, have a better idea. Like Burnt Bean has opened in Seguin since the last time I was in Texas. Honestly, about
For a lot of people,
that time, because I was there in October, and I think
they opened
they
just
opened
after.
in,
I think. Yeah, like just
so like a week after
yeah.
maybe. But anyhow, so yeah, I always have somewhat of a game plan, but a lot of it, like as far as the day, the time, all that stuff, no, just I go with a general list of places, like, depending on who's open on Tuesdays versus, some places on. So I always have a
Yeah,
general
some places are
list of,
Wednesday through Saturday or Wednesday through Sunday only. Yeah, that's true.
right.
There's
And there are several more places I wanted to make it to and just didn't for whatever reason.
okay. Well, let's go through, and then another reason I don't know if I said it in the beginning or just said it to you off camera was if you're somewhere, say you live in Tennessee or you live
Mhm.
somewhere near there, you're making a trip. This can give you an idea as to how like a route that you can make and hit some really great places, and they're so diverse yet the same. It's like they're just doing food at an exceptional level. So the first place that I have on my list that you hit was Right on Taco. Is that correct?
Right. Correct. That's in East Texas. So my route from the route I've been taking probably the last 6 or 8 trips out there is from Martin to Memphis, getting on I-40 in Jackson, Tennessee. Memphis I-40, from Memphis to Little Rock on I-40,
Okay.
and then Little Rock to Texarkana. Texarkana, I typically head southeast towards Houston via the southern East Texas, not too southern, but your Longview, Jefferson. So Longview is where Bodacious on Marbury
Yeah.
is located, where Brian Bingham was at for a while.
Yeah.
And then Jefferson is where Riverport Barbecue, my buddy Stephen Joseph. So I've stopped at his place several Sundays for lunch because I'm usually traveling on Sunday, which a lot of these East Texas joints are not open on Sunday. So it gave me a good opportunity to go see him and eat his great food,
Yeah.
but also it restricted me on, what else I could get. But anyhow, and then I make my way to Houston. I usually start my trip out in Houston and then work my way up Austin, DFW if I make it, and then
Yeah.
back over a northern route. But first stop, right on Taco Shop.
With Julie and Brian.
Julie and Brian, they were great. The
Such
food was
nice people.
so nice.
It was one of my
Nice.
favorite interviews. They're great.
Yeah, they were
great.
great.
Yeah.
They were great. First time meeting them in person, but we talked a lot. Cool, cute little spot in a small town, reminiscent of Dresden, which is where I'm from and where I'm currently sitting in Martin, but it's probably smaller than Martin, but not far from Tyler, not far from Jefferson, not far from Longview. In that
Harrelton, right? Isn't it called
Harrelton? Yeah, I think it's Harrelton.
If I'm pronouncing it correctly, I'm sure I'm not.
Yeah, that's why I was hesitant. But yeah, it was great. Right on tacos and barbecue. I had a bacon, egg, and cheese breakfast taco, so not even barbecue related.
Nice, that's cool.
A half pound of brisket, some really, really good, and it was all really good, but really good warm charred corn elote, like a cream corn elote dish. Some chips, some house fried. They appear to be house fried chips and homemade salsa. Several, like a verde taco sauce, or a verde hot sauce. What else? I can't.
And if I'm smart enough and clever enough, as we're talking, I'm going to try to put a little like square somewhere on the screen, so that way, and I'll have them all at the beginning, but with the name of the place. But I'll try to put it here too, so people can see what, because I'm sure you won't remember every single thing.
But but it was great.
Nice platter. That platter was killer. The board.
Yeah, it was beautiful, and it ate great, and it was very very diverse. Across the plate, it was great. It was great to finally meet them, and they have a really cool little spot.
There's a tree out back with some seating, right? Isn't there?
Yeah, I think some patio seating. Yeah. It was pretty hot that day, as it's gonna be every day in July for the South. But cool place.
Okay.
Definitely recommend stopping.
So where did you go from there? Do you remember?
I went and visited Stephen
at River.
Joseph at Riverport for a few minutes. Him, or my buddy that I usually meet there from Shreveport, Patrick Netherton. He's just a big time barbecue guy, big fan of Stephen's place there at Riverport. And I think he goes and eats there once every week or two.
Yeah.
But we usually meet up there just to have lunch and catch up.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, that's why. Okay, I was wondering why, because I've seen you with him before there.
Yeah. Shreveport's only like 45 minutes from Jefferson. So I just went by and visited them. Then made my way to Houston, where I stayed with Jim Buchanan, who we didn't mention name-wise, but mentioned that, I stayed with people. So Jim and Colleen Buchanan have been gracious enough to let me stay with them on my last 2 or 3 Houston trips. Yeah. So that's always a lot of fun.
And Jim's such a wealth of knowledge and such a great guy, like a loyal person. And he's at Dozier's and in Fulshire. Is that, am I pronouncing it probably?
Fulshire.
I think someone one time, sometime in the comments that I pronounced it, but I pronounced it wrong. So
that's funny.
But okay, so you stay, and then you've had a friendship with him for a little while now.
Yeah, I met him. So he's formerly of Buck's Barbecue, namesake of his father, I believe.
Yeah.
And whenever I first met him, it was in his Edo, which is East downtown area of Houston. He was at a residency at a bar called Lucky's Pub.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the name of it. Anyhow, I met him then. That was, I would say, 2018. Had known of him and followed him for a while. First time we met in person, and we've kept in really good, in touch ever since. And obviously have grown to be at a point where I call him one of my very best friends, closest friends. I honestly think of him like a brother. We talk, I'd say, every day, if not multiple times a day. But they have moved from Katy. So they went, he had Bucks as several locations over a course of a couple of years in Houston. Then they moved to Galveston and opened up there. That didn't quite work out. So now he's, like you said, at Dozier's in Fulshire, whatever it is. It's the fastest growing town in the nation of a population of 10,000 people or less or something. It's growing really fast, and I saw it firsthand, all the construction. So it's true. It's not fake news. It's true. Anyhow, stay with them.
Do you remember the next? And then the next, was it Feges Spring Branch? Yes.
Yeah, Feges Spring Branch for supper that night. Me and those two are both really good friends with Patrick and Aaron. Feges, not Feges or Feges or whatever else anybody. It always cracks me up, but I love them too, and they've been gracious enough to let me stay with them while I was in Houston before too.
I didn't know
Um,
that.
right, but I consider them, brother
They're
and sister
just
as well.
special. Like they're good, yeah. And I'll put a link to
So,
I'll put a link to my recent interview with Aaron about the Spring Branch location. But I want to hear from you. What was that like going to this location?
well, I've always been a huge fan, and of those two and their food and just how nice they are and so talented, barbecue wise and like Erin with her sides. I love. I've grown to love sides, at times more than barbecue. So I've always leaned, towards their food and had really good experiences at their Greenway food court basement,
Yeah.
not basement, but food court barbecue. Definitely the best food court barbecue in Texas, no doubt, if not some of the best in Texas.
So yeah, so what was
Uh,
the location
yeah,
like?
the build out just absolutely beautiful. So much thought you could tell went into it, and the decor. A lot of people, and you'll probably include, some pictures, but a
Mhm.
lot of art and just so cool from the time you walk in and walk up.
Did you see how you could see into the pit area? Did you see that?
Yeah, very cool. Like so that'd be to the right of where you
That's what I
order.
was thinking when you okay.
Yeah, very cool. You can see it as I guess they run J&R orders, which I've grown to like. I've had a lot of food out of a lot of J&R
Yeah.
orders and had some good stuff, and they've always put out great stuff. But super cool. They've got such an eclectic menu and diverse menu with the barbecue stuff all day, but then plus the
Now the
fried
others.
chicken. And you know how I love fried chicken. Well,
Yeah,
they'd
you
had it.
Blake and
They'd
fried
had
chicken, yes.
yeah, one of my three food groups. They'd had a really their biggest day to date, at least since the grand opening. Had a really big day, and they're actually sold out of pork ribs, turkey, chicken, and fried chicken. So that narrowed down, the choices.
Oh,
And
when you got there,
honestly,
they were sold out. I know because I remember
yeah,
seeing Patrick later that night saying how he was crushed. Like it was,
right.
they were crushed that day. Yeah.
Yeah, they were. We were 7:30, 8 o'clock ordered, so we were late, not late for each supper, but late for a barbecue place. They just gotten crushed. So I ended up getting like a half pound of moist brisket, some pulled pork, the spicy Korean great or braised greens,
Oh,
these money cat potatoes, which were like I don't know how they cook them, but they remind you of like a roasted potato wedge with a gochujang
oh,
glaze on them, delicious. This hog fat cornbread,
oh. I
which
know when you said that because I
it
forgot that they
just
had that on the
sounds,
menu. Yeah,
and
like
it was as good as it sounds.
oh, that sounds so
That's
good.
what that's what I personally ordered. We'd ordered fried chicken, but then found out they were out, which I'm sure for good reason because it's
Yeah.
just really good.
Didn't Jim
With
get the
the hanger
hanger
steak
steak? Yeah.
with some sort of, I'm not even gonna try, but delicious hanger steak, beautiful dish, like a real composed plated dish.
On like
Um,
like a cauliflower puree
yeah,
or something.
puree
Yeah,
type
yeah.
thing. I think so. And then Pauline got a burger and fries and like
The burger
a
looks
char.
awesome. The
Yeah.
burger.
Oh, and they rate. I ended up not getting a bite. I don't know why. So, actually, because it was so good for her that she loved it so much, she ate it that fast.
That's funny.
And they just raved and raved. And then some sort of a charred green
Oh, that
salad.
charred, people, I think that's very underrated. Charred greens are amazing. Like
It
a
was like a
like
salad. It was like a half a head or a whole head
like
of
romaine probably or something, or I think
yeah, or iceberg romaine.
because
I
it looked
can't.
thinner. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know. But she loved it too. So the food was just. I expected it to be really good because I know the food they put out. But for it being a new location and new staff, and
And it's
late in the
later in the
evening,
day. Yeah, that's
later
yeah.
in the day, it was about as good as a half pound of brisket as I've ever had. I mean,
Oh,
we could go on about splitting hairs, but it was great. I had a bite of everything or lots of, I sat and ate that whole, the whole shindig there. Just, the balance of flavors. It was just unbelievable experience. Could not be any more, happy or proud for
Were they
them.
there, or did you miss out on seeing them?
Pat, and that was the great part. Patrick was able
Oh, cool.
to break away and come sit with us, and then gave us a little tour of the kitchen and the pit room and
Oh, cool.
whatnot afterwards. So just unbelievable experience and great to catch up with all three of those, in one sitting there. So
That
just one of the best evenings I've had in a long time.
that's awesome. So then the next day, so this is a Monday. Well, no, this is what day of the
This
week?
was
Sunday.
Saturday night.
Saturday night, and then
So
Sunday. Is that when you went to
Sunday,
Blood Brothers?
Jim and I went to Blood Brothers and met our buddy Matt Harris, who's a local foodie. He's good friends with Eric Sandler, if you're familiar with him.
Oh yeah.
Food writer and I guess critic, podcaster.
Yeah,
in Houston.
It's it's smarter than the rest of us.
He's sharp.
Sharp guy.
But, went to Blood Brothers first in line. Got just an array of everything. Sliced brisket. I think I've got this sliced brisket, guava glaze pork ribs, regular glaze, their daily pork ribs, a spicy sausage, al pastor glazed pork belly burn ends. Yeah.
Because I think you texted me a photo and I was like questioning you what
was
it.
crazy.
Yeah, it looked just insane.
It was insane. So good, so diverse, and so just well executed. Barbacoa tacos, some spicy dry dusted smoked wings, smoked then fried, I think. Of course, a brisket fried rice, some hot cream corn style elotes, potato salad, I think, mac and cheese, just got the whole shebang. And just once again, the flavors, I mean, honestly, just the pure, well cooked, the great cook on all the meat across the board. I was floored. I mean, I always expect great out of them.
And what's interesting is what you've described is completely different than the other two meals. That you've had, but they're all exceptional in their own way. Like it's crazy.
Absolutely. I mean, they're just crushing it, and I think the world knows they're crushing it. But I got to go confirm that here. I don't know how long they've been open, but 2.5, maybe 3 years. They've found their seam, and they're really riding strong. I think all those so we had such an array of flavors and specials that day. I think their Hame, I'm not sure what his title is there, but he was a kitchen manager with Feges.
Oh.
And went from Feges to Bucks whenever Jim and Colleen opened in Galveston. And now he's at Blood Brothers. So he's got, quite the resume.
Yeah,
great
resume.
I've known him for years, and he's just crushed the menu that day. But can't say enough about the Blood Brothers and how nice they are. I talk to them, maybe not every day, but really often. And I've known them for a while, and their food's just obviously getting better and better. So.
And if someone's listening to this and they're near Las Vegas or heading to Las Vegas, they're in the new Resorts World, I think, casino.
I don't know the name.
It's by Hilton, but it's search. You could search them out. They have a food stall there, which is that's how cool is that?
They've gotten a lot of acclaim over the last 2 years, and it's all more than well deserved.
Yeah, so deserved. So that was your Sunday, and then I don't think you hit any other barbecue until the next day when you went to Regal.
Yeah, right? I don't remember Sunday night. Sunday night was nothing flashy. Monday was Regals because I'd hit Feges at the new spot on Saturday night, and then I made my Monday lunch decision just super easy.
And there was a special that you wanted to try, or had you had it before?
Yeah, the turkey katsu. No, they've Fletch, we call him Fletch, Fletcher Sheridan, that started with them several months back. It could have even been a year, but
who knows?
He's come up who does know? But he's come up with several specials and is really taking flight there. And he came out with a already famous for sure, turkey katsu sandwich. So personally, we had several people meeting.
Because I know the last time I had seen photos of that was with Ben Sassani, Jess Timmons, and Kelly Yandel. I think.
Right.
So was Jess? Did Jess go?
Jess was there. Jess is actually who ordered the katsu. I knew there would be several on the table, so I just got some brisket ribs, pork belly, and turkey. With I love their greens, so I got some greens. But then Jess got a turkey katsu, and we share. She gave me or she gave me a quarter of her sandwich, and I traded her something. But it was just
I've heard it's unreal.
it was unreal. Here's another thing. I knew that night I was gonna be having fried chicken at Jess's house. We had a little fried chicken and pimento cheese
Yeah,
party.
can you talk a little bit about that too?
Oh yeah, but see, I stayed away from the katsu as far as being my main meal that day for lunch because I knew I was gonna be having something so similar for supper. But Regals, I don't have to say anything about it. It's always just
exceptional. Like, yeah.
Drop the mic.
Or was Russell and Misty, were they there? Or?
Russell and Misty were there. Fletch was off and Alfredo was off. Oh. So they were really in the trenches that day. Russell was cooking and cutting and doing the whole thing. He was working both parties, but they killed it. So that night, yes.
Yeah. So was that something? Was that planned? Did you know?
Yeah, because, sort of pre-planned.
Did the pimento cheese? Did I have any? Did I help at all with the pimento and connecting you and Jess, or did you and Jess have that pimento thing before that? Because I don't know. I
would say there's a good chance. Yeah, I think you're in the mix of getting all those. Yeah, we will say you did. Kevin.
We'll say because I pimento cheese I love so much.
I can't remember what I did at 3:00 this afternoon, much less how all that puzzle came together.
Yeah, I don't usually take credit for much, but I'll take credit for that. Sure, why not? But so was that a planned dinner that you?
Yeah. I think for a week or two we had been toying with the idea of next time you come to town we should have a party. Well,
gotcha.
We put that into fruition and sort of planned on a night that would work for all of us. So it was me, Wesley Barlow, which is a guy in the barbecue realm. He's a great fiddler, violinist, and musician. I'm not sure if violinist, excuse me, Wesley, fiddle player, I assume. I don't know the difference, but there is one.
I'm sure I know that. But we don't know.
But those two are good friends, and we all talk quite a bit. So long story short, I rode with him down to what's called the name of the town's League City down near Galveston to where she lives, her and her family. And I made my Blake's barbecue version of pimento cheese. She made her much more
refined. No.
Refined.
Elevated.
Refined. much more refined, elaborate recipe wise version. And then she fried some house pickle brine chicken and made a duck fat Nashville hot chicken style, hot glaze or hot dip. And
Jess Tim she's a genius. She's amazing. She's just
crazy. I got to see that firsthand. It was just a great time. The food was great. They like Blake's barbecue version, and I mean obviously I liked it too, but I guess because it was different for them. But I loved hers because it was just different. Hers is more of a savory. Like I said, much more elaborate. I was not embarrassed, but ours is much simpler. I better not give away my aunt's secret now. My aunt Angie makes it all. But so I better not give. I don't have.
But that you put that on the Bubba Cole, and it's also something you get on the side too. Yeah.
Right. A lot of people can get about a pint. So that's like 4 side servings, or we sell it in a 4-ounce side that we recommend with the house seasoned crackers.
Yeah, the seasoned crackers. Yes, that looks
right.
And I'll put a photo to one of your platters right here, so hopefully people can see. Well, that's fun. So the next day, okay. Well, is there anything else about that night you want to say?
No, I mean it was just I can't say enough about how much fun and what a treat that was. But
yeah, I was definitely jealous. Like you gave us a couple fly on the wall photos, which was cool, but it sounded like it was a fun night.
She's a master. She's a master.
And she's a great person, and she's a good friend to a lot of my good friends, and she's a good friend. So she's a great person, and so that's okay. Then the next day, You went to, had you been to the Truth to, have you been to Truth in
Oh
Houston before?
yeah,
I think you had, right? Yeah.
truth is honestly pretty much in my every trip to Houston. I have a really hard time. There's been very few since they've opened. Very few times I've been to Houston and not squeezed a meal in there because it's just uh, hmm.
Next level.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a good word. Goat. Well, better not use that. But it's in the realm of greatest of all time type of place.
And
So
consistent.
so consistent and it just gets no, not consistent. Gets better every time.
Oh,
I think I've had 5, 6 meals there, and it's gotten just better every time. I feel like just blows my socks off every time.
was there anything special or different that you got this time that you hadn't gotten before, or do you always?
Yes, yes. Now that you say that, I'm always torn. I love their sides, sort of like at Feges. They've got such an array of, sort of seasonal based sides. They're not. There's a few they're not going to have during the summer because they don't eat as well. Maybe on a hot day, whereas in the winter, they'll have more of a wintertime side dish lineup. But they had added a few months ago cream spinach,
Ah, I love
which
cream spinach so
I know,
much.
and I know you do because you say you get it at Lowry's with your
Yeah,
prime
I
rib.
have to.
Yeah,
Yes.
I've never actually had cream. I've always seen it on steakhouse menus,
I
and
think you had
heard you
mentioned that you've never had it before.
never had it. But I'm all about that type of thing. I went in not knowing if I would get because they have a great corn pudding that I love, corn casserole. They have great greens. Just I think I've tried pretty much all their sides. It's also good tater tot casserole, but I went in not sure what I would do, and then I saw those. I'm like, oh, there it is. So I got cream spinach. But then the rest of the meal, brisket, turkey, pork ribs.
Yeah,
There may be some that do it as well, but no one does what they do better. It's the truth to me is as perfect form. I didn't say perfect, and I didn't say the best, but as perfect form of what's called craft barbecue as you can find. It's
wow,
to me the standard bearer of what craft barbecue is today.
that's amazing.
And
Do you get desserts when you go there?
I typically now I don't have a huge sweet tooth as it
Yeah,
is, and
but there's desserts
even though they
there.
have the great cakes and everything, I just can't stop. I eat more of the savory,
Mhm.
stuff there than I can get myself to
Same
stop
with
with
me,
and
but I think I would
savor.
have no choice. I would like eventually, like when I do go there, I want to try.
Oh yeah, I mean, and if somebody, I've
And
had
you've tried,
bites of
you've
it. I
sampled
just
it. Yeah, yeah,
never
yeah,
ordered. It's giant, like size of your
yeah.
head size slices.
Were you by yourself?
No, who was Packy Saunders, my good buddy, photographer, artist, all around great guy. We hang out, always make it a point to hang out and eat together while I'm in Houston. And then Matt Harris again,
Oh,
who ate with us at Blood Brothers.
oh,
Me and
that's
him
cool.
gotten to be friends over the last year or so. He's just a really cool dude. So
Nice. And then
yeah,
you had a
so
little. I don't want to get too into it, but you had a little mishap on the way to Austin, right?
did. I'm gonna blame it on Leonard and his food. I jokingly did, and he came. He was able to come sit with us for a few
Oh,
minutes as
great.
well. But yeah, I left. I wasn't 3 minutes from leaving Truth, getting on. I guess it was I-10 West, um, and on 8 lanes of traffic, about 6 lanes over. So I had to cross at least 5 lanes to get to the shoulder of the
Oh,
road. Pulled over. Long story short, boy out of tire. First time ever having anything like that happen. And of all places, at like the intersection of I-10 and some other huge road. It was a debacle, but long story short, for the situation, considering the situation it was, it couldn't have gone much better as far as getting the tow truck and taking me to a good tire shop. And they were not super busy and took care of me real well. And then I was on the road within two and a
oh,
half
that's great.
hours.
Yeah, because I thought you were going to
Well,
be like the thing you had
oh,
sent me. I thought you were going to be stranded for a couple
I thought I
hours.
was gonna be stranded for a while, but it was what it was. But it luckily turned out really well, and then I was on my way to Austin.
Yeah, because a lot. Yeah, not everyone blows a tire on their trip
Yeah.
on their road trip, but you were able to do that. And then was it La Barbecue next? Is that same day,
I think that's
or was that
right.
the
Yeah,
next day?
went and met John Brotherton and his wife, and then Kyle Stallings of Rowan Smoke. So John of
Oh,
Brotherton's Black Iron and Liberty Barbecue in Pflugerville and Round Rock, and then Kyle of Rowan Smoke on East 6th. Had supper that night, woke up the next morning, went to a barbecue at their new
at their
location,
new
which is
location,
only,
yeah,
yeah, only been open, I don't know, 3, 4 weeks, maybe
I think
something
so,
like
yeah.
that, 3 or 4 or 5 weeks. I could be wrong on that time, but not long. And it was just great. I mean,
Their
they're,
food's always great, but also the new location looks so interesting. Like
oh,
it's so
so
well.
cool.
They're both artists, so like they're like the artist
Very
mind. It's a,
artsy.
yeah.
It definitely reminded me of Leanne and Allie as far as like, and I don't, we've talked. I've never met them
Yeah.
in person, but it it was very it very much so showed, I would say, their personality. Super cool build out, great food that they're known for. I mean, just really good mac and cheese. My goodness, that was good mac and cheese. Brisket,
Wow.
across the board. And then the super cool bathroom, which you should include a video of that or a picture of that. The bathroom's like a disco party. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's and like it's funny how many people have taken photos and posted
Oh
them
yeah.
of the bathroom, which is not often, not every place gets. But when you put your heart and soul into every little nook and cranny of a restaurant, that's what happens.
Yeah, it was cool.
That's really cool. So the next spot you went to Brotherton's, right? You went to John's place, right? Or did you guys eat there? You didn't eat there the night
Was that
before you,
that night?
because it said because my list was Brotherton's and then Burnt Bean the next day. So and Rolling Smoke. Is that
Okay.
yeah?
We'll go with that. Yes.
We'll talk about Brotherton's because I think you want to. I didn't. Oh, I
Yeah.
missed because you must have gone to Liberty too, didn't you?
I know. I mean, I
Gosh,
always
I'm
eat
like,
Liberty
I thought I
one
had
or
this
two
off the list.
nights while I'm there, if not more, because he has such an eclectic menu there of barbecue, not barbecue, brisket grilled cheeses. So that sort of gives, the vibe of his, or, some influence from Brothers' Black Eye, where they're so known for sandwiches, but
Sandwiches, yeah.
also they are, and they should be more so known for the meat itself because it's as good as it gets too, but just gets a lot more attention for the sandwich options.
Can you
But
talk really quick before we get into food about John and your relationship with John?
he's as close to an angel on earth that I can think of. Just there's not a better, more you know uh, gracious, happy to help, genuine person on walking this earth, if you ask me. He's literally, a brother to me. Him and Jim both, and a lot are, but John's probably who I'm
Special
closest to
person,
in the
right?
barbecue community. Yeah. I guess I've had a close relationship with him for about 3 years too, and have stayed with him and Miss Brenda the last 3 or 4 trips I've been to Austin. So spent a lot of time with them, and they're just awesome.
That's so nice. That's nice that you feel comfortable enough to stay with them, and that I've just I've what's funny is through doing all these interviews for 2, 3, 4, 45 years. I don't know how long I've done them.
Right.
John's name has been weaved into so many stories, and this happened, or this happened, and John came and helped me out with this, or John brought this, or John did that, and his connection to foodways and to Texas
Oh
A&M
yeah.
and all that. Like it just he's everyone, it's I haven't heard a bad thing about him, and
There's
I've
not a
just
bad.
yeah
I know him pretty well, and there's a lot of stuff sure I don't know like anybody, but I can't think of a bad thing to say
yeah
about
yeah
him.
no, that's
He's
great.
just I don't know anybody that doesn't love him either. Maybe haters, maybe
But
people that have shown up late and lost weight, as he says, but
what are you gonna do?
he's just unreal.
So then you got a full meal there. Did you guys go the same day to Liberty, or was that a different day? Or and Liberty's in Round
Hans,
Rock.
we hung out. We hang out at Liberty. The last 3 trips I've been to Austin for 2 to 5 days at a time. I've been to Liberty. I've spent time at Liberty and
Okay.
Brotherton's Black Iron every day, and most evenings at Liberty. We'll usually hang out there and fool around with Bill or whatever
And Bill was there,
until
right?
yeah. He's always fun to hang out with. But we'll either hang out there and have supper, or a lot of times we'll hang out there until 7, 8 o'clock at night, and then go down the city, wait till traffic lets up, you go down to the city for food.
Okay.
But just one way or the other.
How
I
did you
don't
have?
know.
Did you have any different sausages there? Because I know that Bill every week has a crazy
Uh,
amount of.
a barbacoa sausage. It was I love all of them. I've never had one that I didn't like from them, but a barbacoa sausage that was really good, and a brisket boudin. I think it were the only
Nice.
two new ones on the menu while I was there.
Have you had the country fried steak ever at Liberty?
Uh, this answers it. The night I ate there was Thursday night. Thursdays are chicken fried steak day at Liberty, and it's been hyped up, hyped up. I've seen it, and I thought, man, I've grown up on chicken fried steak. It honestly is a bigger deal in Texas. Like here, it's more fried chicken and a lot of Southern cooking, but
Yeah.
in Texas, chicken fried steak is like almost like barbecue, and tacos and chili. It was on a different level. The best I've had, no doubt. Such well seasoned, just different level. It hit different, as the kids say.
Yeah. Well, and also it's funny because Sheldon Mason, he even he's a connoisseur of of all things, and he would
Right.
send me photos because he was working at Louis Miller, and so he'd go stop by there and get some chicken fried
Oh
steak.
yeah.
And everyone I've taught, it looks. I don't think I've shared a chicken fried steak as much as I've shared photos of that one at Liberty. So that's
Oh
cool.
yeah.
I'm glad you got a chance. But have you had it before there, or is this the first time?
No, it was the first time
Wow.
of all the meals I've had at Liberty, and mostly at nighttime. I've never been there on a Thursday for chicken fried steak. So I had a nibble of it, had a brisket grilled cheese, and this famous deviled eggs that actually inspired our deviled eggs at
Oh,
Blake's
I didn't know. Okay.
Bacon jam deviled eggs. You must get them. They go with anything. If you go to Liberty, you can't walk out without getting their bacon jam deviled eggs.
That's cool. And then the spot looks really cool. It looks like a
Super.
nice build out. And it's so if people are listening to this and they want to plan something out, they could plan it around Thursday so that they make sure they do hit that, but make sure they go anyways because of the food, just in general.
Right.
For both Liberty. And then for Brotherton's, it's in Pflugerville. That's with a P and an F and a rand like a L.
Oh yeah. They're only 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Definitely not 10, 5 to 8 minutes apart.
Okay.
Then I think the next day for lunch, out of all, I'm embarrassed to say this, but I've got to. Of all the time I've spent at Brotherton's Black Iron and with him, I had never had an actual full-on platter style meal at Black Iron. Just for whatever reason, we always go eat lunch together or something. Yeah. I'd never been there for lunch with an empty stomach ready to eat. I've had plenty of bites of brisket or half slices of brisket or pork ribs, fresh off the smoker at 10:30 in the morning, but I'd never had a meal. Well, we ate a meal, and
wow,
what can I even? I mean, what can I say? It was just good of pure meat by the pound, craft style barbecue. As you can find, which, like I said, they're more so known for and talked about for their sandwich options.
Yeah,
but the meat from the brisket to the I'm not gonna use that word. But they have great St. Louis style pork ribs. Some of my favorite St. Louis style.
So people should venture off the sandwich idea, and because that's where his wheelhouse was, but he also was creative with his sandwiches.
Right. Just you can't go wrong there. He had just introduced the day before. No, it was that day. I think I was the first one. Actually, yeah, I think I was the first to officially get the Brothers Black Iron Texas Italian beef sandwich.
Oh, really?
Which I'm just now realizing that. I could be wrong, but I think it was that. Yeah. So cool.
Nice.
So this Texas Italian beef was on this Omarosa roll, just chopped beef or chopped brisket, fresh chopped brisket, some sort of a cheese, melted cheese, jardiniere out of Chicago, correctly toasted, the bread correctly toasted with a brisket tallow au jus. And I don't know what made it so glorious, but it was just just insane.
I'd get that 3 times a week.
So good. And then we had part of a brisket Philly, which he's had on the menu for a while,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is like sliced brisket with cheese on it on a different special. It's the bread. He doesn't mess around with bread. He gets bread shipped in from wherever he has to be, the real version, and that makes a really big difference. But
That's
it
smart.
was great too. And then Buddy Robert Sierra came in, just popped in, which I mean I've been with him several times as well at Snows and other places. But he just popped in for lunch and sat down and had lunch with us. So,
Oh, that's fun. That's cool.
oh yeah,
I think I think from what I saw, I think he's in LA right now.
yeah. I think I just saw, and he said they were about to be going out there, and then he's going to be cooking at Danny's. Is that going to be the 2 year one? It's going to be the 1 year.
1 year, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be cooking out
But
there.
oh,
I
so
think.
he's gonna be
So,
out here for like a week, I guess, then, because it's
yeah, I
not
think
till
he
the
made his
8th.
trip a couple of days longer because just to be able to make it to it
Oh,
to the party.
oh, that's great. Oh, that's cool. That's smart. Well, and he's a special
Oh,
guy. Such a
he's so cool, so fun, and it just couldn't be nicer.
that,
My experience with him.
that's awesome. So the next day you went to Burnt Bean Co., right?
Yeah, I think
Because that night you went to Rolling Smoke, but I think you went to Burnt Bean the next day.
right. So that would have
Yeah.
been Friday. Me and Co-Partman, namesake of
Cool.
half namesake of the Bubba Co. Picked him up in Austin, drove down from Pflugerville, picked him up in Austin. We went down and had our my first burnt bean experience ever. His second in like a matter of 4 or 5 days.
What time did you get
Uh,
there?
we got there early, like probably 9:30 or 10,
Okay.
and hung out with David Kirkland and Ernest, the two owners, and they were great. I mean, I really can't say enough. I'm gonna have to put this in one of my Blake Stoker nutshells. They, they were so cool and so nice. Let us hang out and talk shop and just talk about whatever. Build out just as beautiful as the pictures make it look. More so, everything was what you seen here plus some, in my
Wow.
opinion.
Wow.
Just blown away by the build out, by the food, by the service, the music, the vibe. Just crazy.
This wasn't on the weekend. This was a
This
Friday,
is
right?
Friday.
Okay.
Friday.
They didn't have their breakfast type. It was more of a
Nah, it's just the barbecue stuff. Yeah, as good of a pork spare rib as I've ever had. As good a brisket as I've ever had. Um, Turkey just ridiculous. Two sausage wing, two different types of sausage wings, house made, both just as snappy and good as they can be. Sides were as well executed. I mean, just
it just
not
looks like one of the best places ever. And
oh,
it's
it
only
was
been open for like less than a year.
heavenly, just heavenly. Corn pudding or corn casserole. We call it pudding here. Corn casserole, tater tot casserole, green beans, mac and cheese with a hot Cheeto dust on top, pinto beans, and it feels like there's one or two more, and then topped off with banana pudding. And all I'll say is that I just there there's not really words to say besides just incredible. What you see in here is true plus some. That's my
So you
that's my
have to
report.
go. You have to go.
They are
Yeah, I wanted your
they are
report.
crushing it. They
So
are crushing it.
so it's a
Must
visit.
must. A lot to learn there from the standpoint of just stand and watch. Just finish your meal and sit there a second and watch.
And see
Just
how like a
crazy.
well executed restaurant
Well
is.
executed. Yeah.
And they have so many ideas to expand hours and change and have like a steak night once a month or once a week, and then I think they're gonna have these special, like he has a lot of ideas too, which are gonna be amazing. It's even
No,
more
it's
amazing.
crazy.
Wow,
Crazy.
and it's so when you leave an experience like that, do you think like holy heck, like
It was inspiring.
yeah,
Just
how I would
inspired. I
feel.
walked out of there inspired to come back and make make things currently better, and inspired to really do something with a brick and
Yeah,
mortar.
it gives you ideas for all these places that you visited will give you ideas for the brick
Yeah,
and mortar.
there's something here, something there that
Mhm.
that strikes a positive nerve, or an idea. So it was just incredible. I'm not saying much because
Yeah, I know
just Is that cool, that good?
And then you went to that evening. You went to Roll and Smoke,
Growing
right?
smoke.
Which I don't think is
Yeah,
on everyone's radar, and it should be.
it should be. I mean, I've had two meals there that were oh,
Exceptional.
just ridiculously good, ridiculously good. He's been so he's got a guy with him now, Harvey. I can't think of his last name, but I think he was formerly with Hayes County in
Okay.
San Marcos. But he's brought in a sort of a Tex-Mexy taco flair with it. So they've been doing some crispy like birria style, JQ I guess style tacos and these burritos. But we had a I could not have eaten better on that Thursday of last week than I did. Between burnt beans for lunch, drop the mic, and that supper we had. And he's open late night, so we had 8:30 or so, something like that. I think they closed at 9 that night. But this carne asada burrito, giant, the size of a big man's arm, forearm, with stuffed with mac and cheese and carne asada, crispy, crispy, crispy. Just, I
And
mean,
that was laying in
unreal.
this like the center-ish
Center,
of your.
right? And then to the left of that in the picture are like three smoked carnitas, like legit carnitas. I don't even know really what that means, but it was delicious little crispy tacos, chock full of the carnitas meat, onion, cilantro, cheese, just ridiculous with a couple of house verde sauce and a red sauce and just ridiculous. And then two spare ribs that were as good as any as I've ever had in Texas. I'm not gonna use the word best or anything, like that, because
Yeah.
Ernest is that I'd had as good of a pork rib for lunch that day as you'll find, and they're putting out so that meal that night at Rowan Smoke exemplified, such diversity just on the plate there that they're not only killing it with the taco burrito game, but also just the regular barbecue stuff. I've had some of the best brisket, as good a brisket as I've ever had at 9 o'clock at night there. So
And
it's
what's
just
great is if you're staying in Austin, say you're there on business or for some, you could. It's right there. It's not like it's
oh
in
yeah,
the heart of our. Yeah.
right. I mean, and open, lunch
Late.
and
Yeah.
separate, so it's a great nighttime option.
Wow, that's great. Now I thought that was on a Friday because I'm missing because I know the
It
next
was
day.
Friday. That was Friday night.
Okay, that was Friday. Okay, and then the next
Oh, I
day.
said Thursday. I'm sorry. Yeah,
That's
it
okay.
was
I was gonna
Friday.
say, why did I miss a day? Okay, so because I know the next day was at a place
That
that
was
some people might have heard of before.
Possibly. They might have seen it on something. I
Yeah,
don't know. They might know a lady.
yeah. It's
Um,
and if you
but
don't, you probably
if you
should be
don't,
listening to this.
you're not listening to this. But so snows Saturday morning.
What time did you get there? Because I know I saw someone that day got there at 3:50, I think, or something.
We did not get there that early. But we managed. I'll just say we managed to get some food.
Yeah.
But it was a big meetup. Uh, I'm scared to name. I'll try to name everybody.
Yeah, because and they weren't all like you weren't expecting all those people because there were people that were there that were other people that
Right.
we know.
I
Okay,
knew
go.
there'd be, a crew, but I didn't know. I can't name them all, but a lot of people in the barbecue
So
community.
try. Let's see. Try to name a
Okay.
couple. Let's see.
Joey Garcia
Okay.
of Houston, Patrick Hernandez of Houston that used to work at True, Packy Saunders again, Gabe Ramirez, Co-Hearted Barbecue on Instagram, great guy.
Yeah.
Brady Clark, Brisket Country, Jeremy Brand, who's I believe works with him. He's a photographer, really cool dude.
Is he
I met him
barbecuing back squats? Is that the?
Yes, yes, yes. Oh,
They
who
work
else?
together.
Yeah, they work together.
The guys from Koi, right?
Don and Theo of Coy, Brotherton, obviously. JQ ended up showing up. Harvey of Rowan Smoke, who I'd been with that had fed me such a killer meal the night before, had never been and showed up.
When you got there, because I want to set the scene for people that haven't been to Snows, was it just a massive line? Like, was it?
Oh, it's like wrapped around the building. It's unbelievable. And for good reason. There's no experience like it.
Yeah.
But the secret's out. It's no longer a secret. Since I've been, they've had some we'll call it facelift stuff. The the gravel, I believe, was gone. It's a lot of they paved your concrete. Gotten rid of the gravel. There's now a like Tito's vodka bar that I believe you pay it's tips only, but a Tito's vodka bar.
I've seen that. Yeah. Okay.
I think probably Bloody Marys. I didn't get a drink or anything, but it's a lot of people do. A lot of people did. I was
I'm
gonna be on the
sure.
road,
I'm sure.
but right, super cool vibe. There's now a legitimate merch.
Yeah, I was gonna say the
Shop.
merch area. I remember them talking about that. Yeah.
Right, new bathrooms, the whole shindig, and then it's just there's no experience like it. Eating barbecue at 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning for one thing, sharing it with your friends. Just there's not a better place to end a trip. I mean, you know, first of your trip, midways through, whatever, but there's no better end
You have
cap.
to if you yeah like you have to if you can you have to stop there.
If you're in Texas, if you're around Central Texas on a Saturday, you should be making it a point to go.
And how swarmed is Tootsie nowadays? Like, are people? Is everyone trying to take a photo?
I mean, obviously everybody's trying to get her attention, and but they didn't have it blocked off, but there was definitely less traffic back in the pit room, probably strategically, with the pandemic and the way the world's changed. But I saw people bringing her flowers, and
I saw some really beautiful photos of her holding.
Oh yeah. I think Jeremy, the barbecue back squats, took some good pictures, and maybe I think Gabe, co-heart of barbecue, Gabe Ramirez, pictures too. But it was just there's no experience.
Did you get a chance to talk to her?
Yeah, I didn't, but I know that I know her, and I've met her, been around her several times, but I know she gets bombarded all day. So I just went up to her after and said, "Hey, just want to let you know, I haven't spoken to you yet. Just want to let you know I made it this morning, and everything was just as good, as always." But I didn't bombard her. But
do you have a favorite thing that you love on the menu?
I love Clay's pork ribs. There's just something special about those. I love her pork steak. I honestly love the brisket. It's served so hot. It's different than any other you'll have in the state. But the brisket just served hot. And I actually really like their sausage. I know it's not house made necessarily, but everything's just so fresh, and there's not a bad bite. Yeah. Not a bad bite.
Do you get a chance to talk to Clay at all?
Yeah, I talked to Clay quite a bit. We talked a good bit on the side, but he was. Yeah, I love talking to Clay.
Yeah, but I'm sure he is busy too. And how, when you left, was there still a good group of people there? Like, was it still a crowd?
I was there from it was the same. It looked the same, if not even larger. I got there about 8:30 and left honestly about 10:15. And I think more people would come, and Carrie had said, and I'm afraid anybody that got here after 5 is probably going to be, because I think they're able to serve right now, and around 300, so that he tries to do a good job of, cutting off, at least giving a warning of, hey, you are welcome to stay in line, but there's a chance you're going to, wait another 2 or 3 hours or whatever it is. I don't mean to put words in their mouth, but and not be able to get food. But it was a crazy line. Crazy. I think Netflix helped that. But
isn't that funny? Yeah, the power of TV. Like, there's influencers, whatever, quote unquote influencers in social media and different things, but there still is the power of TV and the power of Netflix, and that just changed. I've had people write me and said, well, what time, like, they're coming in from LA or something, and they'll say, what time should they get there? I'm like, I don't know, like 4, like at 5, and they're like, well,
at this point it's like, if you had gotten in line after 5 a.m., I don't know this, but you might have been in trouble. Yeah. And that's just the power of,
I'm supposed to talk to Carrie. I've been going back and forth with Carrie, so I'll find out I want him to kind of give a scoop as to that, because I think it's interesting to think about. There's not many places you have to get there at like 5 in the morning to make sure you get a chance for food. And I told these people, they're like, we're coming on motorcycles, we're not going to come at night or like in the dark. I'm like, well, then I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know.
Yeah. This is
There's
it.
other places, William
Yeah.
Miller and Brett's and
Yeah, there's
Ruth and
yeah,
Brenham, and there's a lot of other places around. But
definitely. And they but and then on your way out, so that was your last day.
oh
On
yeah,
your way out, you stopped by
I
Slaughter's
stopped by.
Barbecue Oasis.
I stopped by Smoke Sessions in Royce City.
Oh yeah. Did I
Um,
miss that? I think I missed that. Ah, yes, I did.
that's
Smoke
okay.
sessions. Yeah. No, but it's not
Super
okay
cool.
because it's worth stopping. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm happy to. It's the one thing I remember, so I'll pat myself on the back for that. But Smoke Sessions, super cool. I think it was a new brick and mortar. You know, it's been open a few months, but
Yeah.
really cool. I just got some pork ribs and macaroni and cheese to go, and then swung by and saw David for a minute and got some brisket from him, and ended up having. And if you know me, you know this is really weird, but I had barbecue again for supper that night in the hotel room. Sort of, um, on, it was great to
You're
begin with,
deliberate, right? You
but
deliberately had it. You
deliberately, exactly, both because I wanted it, and two, it gave me an opportunity to. I couldn't have stopped. I couldn't have eaten when I got that food.
yeah.
I just packed it up and honestly microwaved it in the hotel room. But it gave me an opportunity to knock those two off my list as well for microwave. And even not for microwave, it was I was blown away by how good it was in a hotel room. You know, hours later in a microwave. So
Wow, and that's
glad
yeah,
I
and
got
then,
to
yeah,
make that
and
stop.
David's such a nice guy too at
Oh
Slaughters.
yeah,
So
love him.
I'll put it for people that might not. I'll put a list below, and I'll do a companion blog piece that'll show all the different places with addresses and a link to
Okay,
the map, so people can. Because I don't know if people will recreate exactly your trip, but they
it's a
will. But it sounds like it's from
good
like
footprint or good
you
footprint.
left having really seen like really been to some fantastic places. Like this was probably one of your most consistently amazing trips,
Oh,
I think. Yeah,
I was for it every meal. Uh,
crazy.
by the by the places themselves and just the food. I know it's going to be good, but I was just for it. Everybody's working their A game.
Wow.
It's gonna be a tough. I don't want to get into list talk, but it's gonna
It's
be a
gonna be tough,
tough.
yeah.
They've got a job ahead of them.
They
Good
do.
luck,
And
because I had a lot of good meals.
you had said something about like you had done a post about Texas when you got back, or maybe a day or two. I'm not sure, but can you summarize at least this? What does Texas mean to you even more so now?
Oh, just I mean, it's where I feel like half my heart is. It's where such a large portion of my friend group is at. You know, brothers and sisters in the industry and people that I've just truly grown to love like family. Um, you know, it's inspired me and inspired my life, inspired my business, and my whole future. The love for Texas barbecue in Texas just I don't think it can be rivaled,
No.
especially in a culinary sense, even more so than pizza in Italy or tacos in
Yeah.
Mexico City. I feel like Texas barbecue just holds a special place in the entire state's heart that nothing else in the world can match.
And it's like it just seems like it's getting better and better and better.
Better and better and bigger, more widespread.
And it inspires you for your brick and mortar. It's gonna you have it'll be interesting. What the goal, I'm sure, and I'm not putting words in your mouth, but is to have people leave your place feeling the same way you felt about leaving all these different places.
Right. Absolutely.
Wow. Well, that's great. We've covered that. I think that people will get a good sense of what a spectacular trip, because there's not many people. I don't know many people. I know like the guys from Tales from the Pits, they go on these road trips, which are amazing, and they do things. But
Oh
it's
yeah.
but this is someone coming from outside the state, even though it's like your second home, but and traveling and really hitting a lot of places. That's why I wanted to talk to you, just to get people an idea of what they can expect, and people could do it opposite. Like they could do
Yeah,
a
you can do
version of your,
opposite.
like they'll be able to see it below, and they could do a version of your trip if they fly into Dallas, or they fly into Austin, or they fly into
Right.
Houston. Yeah,
Oh yeah, and then I mean, and I didn't even make it, which we can't get into DFW, but I didn't even
yeah.
make
There's
it
so many,
to Waco or DFW or San Antonio. So those are like five other trips you'd have to take to knock everything out, and that's on my list. I just
and no, there's one more too. Lubbock, that Lubbock
oh, I
area.
love it. Oh yeah, and then with Evie Mays and Tom and Bingos, and then you got the other.
and
You got
Hill and
Marfa,
Pitforks and yeah.
Pitforks, and
Oh yeah, then
Regino, and
Martha
then down in Marfa.
Marathon and Martha.
Crazy.
Yeah.
There's
It's
just too much to do. I've got too much to do here in West Tennessee, and there's too much ground to cover in Texas.
yeah. Well, I'm glad you get to do that. That was important, and hopefully,
yeah.
hopefully things are going
It's
to
a
be
revitalizer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's important. You haven't been really able to do that, and so and I know it's not all just because of the pandemic. It's also you're really busy and
busy. Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to share that with us. And
thank you.